precious son tried to do to him.
Hold on.
This is Channel 4. We now join the Channel 4 News.
Good evening. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history. Her reign lasted for 70 years, from post-war austerity and the end of empire through the expansion of the Commonwealth. She helped preserve the institution of the monarchy during times of massive social change. At her coronation, the Queen repeated her pledge to serve her people and fulfilled it throughout her reign with a combination of skill and a sense of duty. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. The Queen died today at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. She was 96. Her 4 children, Prince Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, all travelled to Scotland, and Princes William and Harry have joined the rest of the family. She continued to carry out royal engagements until the end of her life. Her final official event was on Tuesday, when she asked Liz Truss to become Prime Minister. The Queen was born on April the 21st, 1926. She became Queen, aged just 25, on the 6th of February 1952, on the death of her father, George VI. Only a few years earlier, on her 21st birthday, Princess Elizabeth publicly dedicated her life to the service of the Commonwealth.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family, to which we all belong.
Well, the Queen's coronation took place in June 1953 at Westminster Abbey, with 8,000 people present. Hundreds of thousands more lined the route outside the cathedral, and an estimated 27 million watched the 3-hour service live on TV. At the time of her accession to the throne, the Prime Minister was Winston Churchill. The Queen's reign included 18 general elections, and she was served by 15 Prime Ministers. During her reign, she oversaw the transformation of the British Empire into the Commonwealth, which now comprises 54 member states. And now the flag is flying at half-mast over Buckingham Palace. We can see pictures now over Buckingham Palace. That's the flag flying at half-mast, a mark of respect to Queen Elizabeth II, whose death has been announced by Buckingham Palace. Well, let's go to Matt Fry, who's at Buckingham Palace for us now. Matt.
Well, Cathy, that flag was lowered just a few minutes ago. As the announcement was made by the palace, there will be a notice pinned to the palace gates. Maybe that's happening right now. I'm not able to go over there to look for myself. And it's been an extraordinary day, with crowds really beginning to gather now in quite large numbers. And throughout the day, we've had tourists coming to Buckingham Palace, as they always do. Many of them unaware of what was going on. They obviously hadn't read their phones. They were looking at all of us crews here, all the news crews that have been gathering. And there was a South Korean chap who said to me, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, it looks as if the Queen, might pass today." And he was so shocked. This is, not a monarchist. He's not a subject of the Queen. He was someone from South Korea who was a tourist here. And it gives you some indication of the global stature that this woman had. There's perhaps no other international figure. When they pass, everyone will know what they were doing on that particular day. That is the Queen. She's been Queen of this nation for 70 years. She is still the head of state in 15 Commonwealth nations, notably Canada, Australia, New Zealand. And the kind of international tourists you see outside the palace here are testimony to her global image. At the same time, and this is so poignant, remember, under these sort of dark skies at the moment, and we had a massive storm earlier on when the heavens really opened, followed by a rainbow, spectacular rainbow. Just a few months ago, we were all gathering here for the Jubilee. And it was this amazing moment of the Queen has been on the throne for 70 years. She's the longest reigning monarch, as you said. And here we are again, just a few months later, on this very somber occasion. And she is, you know, whether you are in favour of the monarchy or not, she is the mother of the nation. She is the embodiment of continuity in this country. She got on the throne as the empire was winding up. She was still on the throne, inviting Liz Truss to become Prime Minister just 2 days ago, saying goodbye to Boris Johnson. I mean, these are extraordinarily dramatic developments. Never before have we had a new Prime Minister and a new monarch in 1 week. And of course, we'll be watching events here as they unfold outside the gates of Buckingham Palace. Back to you, Cathy.
Matt, thanks very much. Well, let's turn now to Kieran Jenkins, who is at Balmoral, where the Queen has passed away. Kieran.
Cathy, a few minutes ago when the news emerged, there was a sombre silence descended here at Balmoral. There's a lot of press here, a lot of media have rushed here from all over the country. And all you could hear was the ripple, really, of the River Dee, which runs along the fringes of this estate which was so dear to the Queen. It was a place that she visited from her very early years. She came here every summer to spend the summer months, a retreat, a sanctuary, where she would come to rest from the duties that she performed. And it's where she has come to her final rest. It's a place where she spent so much time with her family, and now her family today have come here to be with her. Charles, already nearby in his own residence, has been here with the Queen, along with his wife. We know that Princess Anne was nearby, having attended the Braemar Highland Games last weekend. And then this afternoon a plane arrived at Aberdeen Airport carrying other senior members of the royal family. And at about 5:05 there was a rush of activity here as a convoy sped in. And at the wheel of one of the cars, a Range Rover, was Prince William, driving his uncles into the Balmoral estate to be with his grandmother, Prince Andrew, in the passenger seat, and Prince Edward and his wife Sophie with them as well. And it was only 2 days ago that the Queen was still on her feet performing royal duties here at the Balmoral estate. It would normally have been performed at Buckingham Palace, of course, but Liz Truss came here and the Queen invited her to form a government. And we saw those pictures, didn't we, of the Queen smiling, happy, on her feet, but clearly much more frail than we had seen her before. And then this afternoon came that statement from the palace saying that the Queen was under medical supervision here at Balmoral Castle, that her medical team were concerned about her. It was an incredibly significant statement. We don't usually get updates like that about the Queen. And then the most significant statement of all, of course, just after 6:30 this evening, the Queen died peacefully, it says, at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. Now, Prince Harry, we understand, is also on his way here, but she's very much surrounded with the people who love her the most.
Kieran in Balmoral, thank you very much for joining us. Well, let's turn now to Gary Gibbon, who is in Downing Street for us this evening. Gary.
We're waiting now for Liz Truss to come out and address the nation. The podium is in place. Bizarrely, it seems to make an announcement of such poignancy only 2 days after she came to that podium, having been at Balmoral with the Queen. As you were just hearing from Matt and from Kieran, seeing those pictures of the Queen 48 hours ago or so, looking bright-eyed, reaching out her hand to Liz Truss. She'd had 40 minutes with Boris Johnson beforehand. It seems unimaginable that so quickly her life has ended after that, but it has. We now have a king. There are many things that will now happen that people haven't seen in this country for a long time, that are dictated by protocol, custom, some of them by law, and we will be seeing those unfold during a period of mourning, which the country formally goes into, and Liz Truss, I suspect,